Step Out, Step In podcast, live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears behind.
Hello and good evening or good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching from. I want to welcome you live on YouTube and Facebook to another episode of Step Out, Step In podcast on this Monday, this wonderful and amazing Monday, December 22nd, the year of our Lord 2022. And I if you're joining me again, I want to welcome you. If you can do me a big favor, if you can share the link with at least one person, let that one person share with another person so we are all in this together. This is episode 134, live on YouTube and Facebook. You know, Step Out, Step In podcast is a podcast that helps you to step out of what limits you to step into what God has designed for you. And in today's episode, we'll be talking about a year in review and the expectation and the excitement in 2026. And so I want you to take just a moment and let's reflect. But as you do this, share the link. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, do so to subscribe. Don't forget to click on the notification bell so that anytime something is posted, you will be notified. Again, welcome, 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 and I want to thank you for your time. It's going to be fast and furious this evening. Watch this space and stay tuned.
Every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, join me as we dive headfirst into thrilling stories of personal growth, daring adventures, and transformative experiences. Get ready to be motivated, inspired, and empowered to live your life to the fullest. So mark your calendar, set your alarm, and get ready to step out, step in with me every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss out on the adventure of a lifetime. Subscribe now and
All right, thank you for tuning into episode 134 live on YouTube and Facebook. And as I said earlier, we are all in this together. This is episode 134, and let's dive into what we have for today. And let me start by asking you this question: have you ever looked back at a year and you know and thought, "Wow, I survived it," and and not just survived, but learned. You stretched, you grew, and you became someone stronger. As this year comes to a close, ladies and gentlemen, I want you and I to pause with I mean, let's pause, or should I say, pause with me? Pause with me and for a few moments, not to rush into the next year, not to set goals just yet, but to reflect. Because reflection isn't about living in the past. It's about learning from the past. That is what reflection does. If this year, I know this year has been challenging to some people or for some people, but if this year has challenged you, I believe that this episode is for you. If this year has stretched you, I know that this episode is for you. And if you're stepping into 2026 with hope, even if it's quite hope this episode is for you. So take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. Just settle in. And let's step out of what was. We're reviewing the year, so you and I can step into what is next. So I just want us to dive straight into this. So number one, we want to talk about the power of review. The power of reviewing your year. Last week I believe I said that set some time apart and review your year, write down your goals, aspirations for next year. Let's get into the year prepared. But before you get excited about 2026, ladies and gentlemen, you have to respect the journey of this 2025, which will soon be in the past. It will soon be over. A year in review isn't about counting failures, it's about recognizing progress. You started from January, God crossed us over week after week, month after month, from January, February, March, all the way down to December, the last month of the year. And I believe that in there's some progress. But one of the things we usually do not do is we don't really focus on the progress. We dwell so much on what I didn't achieve, what I failed in, but there's a progress somewhere. And we have to recognize that progress. And some of the biggest wins this year didn't come with applause. Nobody tapped you on the back. Nobody, you didn't get no cheerleaders around you. It was the strength. It was the strength to keep going. It was the courage to let go, and the wisdom to say no. No is a complete sentence, ladies and gentlemen. And the patience you didn't know you had. As a person of faith, every now and then I want to throw in one scripture from the Bible, and in Lamentations 3 and the verse 40. Lamentations 3 and verse 40. Let me see if I do have it here. Okay, all right. It says, let us examine our ways and test. Let us examine our ways and let us test. Let us test them and let us return to the Lord. So number one is examine your ways. Number two is to test them. And number three is to return to the Lord. So ladies and gentlemen, reflection gives us clarity. And clarity brings alignment. And alignment prepares you for what is ahead. So I want you to just take a moment and ask yourself. Just ask yourself a few questions. Sometimes we have to ask ourselves these few questions and be honest with ourselves as well. So take a few moments and ask yourself, what did this year teach me about myself? What did this year teach me about myself? What did I reveal? What did it reveal about my priorities? In other words, you're asking yourself these questions. And where did you grow emotionally, spiritually, and meaningfully? And these are questions we have to be honest and we have to ask ourselves about it. So, Number number one is, what did this year teach you about yourself? Number two is, what did it reveal about yourself? And number three is, where did you grow emotionally, spiritually, and mentally? You know, growth isn't always loud, but it is always meaningful. Growth isn't always loud, but it is always meaningful. All right, so if you're just joining us, we are live on YouTube and Facebook. This is episode 134 of Step Out, Step In podcast. And again, just share the link with at least one person. Tell one person to tell another person that we are live. And we are all in this together. We are all in this together. All right, so number two is acknowledging the highs and the lows. Acknowledging the highs and the lows. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this year we've had some high moments. I believe every one of us. Look, as you go through life, life is not a straight line or a straight course. You know, there are those ups and down moments, those roller coaster moments. We've had our high moments and moments where things finally worked. I mean, things worked out, things fell in place. And we've had moments of joy, moments of peace and laughter and answered prayers. But it also tells us that we've had those low moments. Moments of disappointment, moments of delay, which sometimes it's unexplainable, moments where things didn't make sense. And here's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the truth. And both matter. You know, the high showed you what is possible. As you go through your high moments, it reveals to you and it shows you what is possible. The low showed you what was necessary or what is necessary. You know, one of my favorite scriptures, Romans chapter 8 and verse 28, and Paul said, "And we know that all things work together for good." All things, not some things, but all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. You know, one of the things I know is once you love God and you're called according to his purpose, he makes all things, he puts all things together, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and he makes it work out for good. So all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Even the hard conversations, ladies and gentlemen, it works together for good. Even the closed doors. You know, sometimes God will have to close certain doors in order to open other ones for you. Even the seasons of waiting. You know, waiting is not a pleasant place to be. I don't know about you, but if you're waiting for that expectation, it is not a pleasant place to be. And nothing, in spite of all this, nothing was wasted. You know, one of the things about God is he never wastes anything he allows you to go through. It's one, a teachable moment, it's one, an encouraging moment, and one, he's going to use it to prepare you for what is ahead. So some things might have ended this year, not to hurt you, but to prepare you. Some relationships shifted to make room for growth. Some plans changed so purpose could be encouraged, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't lose, but what happened? You learned. The only way you miss out is when you decide not to learn anything out of it or from whatever the situations were. But I know and I believe you learned something this year. Number three is gratitude, the bridge between the years. Gratitude. 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 You know, gratitude is one of the most powerful things that you can do before stepping into a new year. And before you get into it, all you have to do is to give thanks. Sometimes, as human as we are, we take a whole lot of things for granted. We do. We do take a whole lot of things for granted. And I said, gratitude is a bridge between the years. And whilst we're in this Al, let me put it this way, I want to pause and personally take the opportunity to give thanks or to say a big thank you to number one, God, for giving me the strength, the grace, and the ability to host this podcast throughout the year. I mean, there were a few days that we didn't go live, but majority of the time we've been live. Number two is to thank all subscribers of this podcast page on YouTube and all the followers on Facebook. I want to say a big thank you because it is because of you that we are able to do this. So we say thank you, thank you, thank you so much to all the subscribers and followers on YouTube and Facebook respectively. I also want to pause and personally thank the following individuals. I know there are a whole lot of people, but every one of you listening to the sound of my voice is part of it. But I want to take this opportunity to thank these following people for their support and encouragement. Number one is my better half. I always say that God doesn't make mistakes and God doesn't forget. If that I would have said that he forgot to put wings on her to call her an angel, my beloved wife, Nanaya. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the support. I also want to say thank you to my brother, Reverend Eugene Jail, also for that encouragement, all the thumbs up and all the encouragement. And my other brother from another mother, Kobe, can come from. He's in London. He's a brother from another mother. That's what I say to him. And for all the encouragement and the motivation, every week he would send me a message and said, "Keep it up." You know, there's been days that it was kind of hard and tough going forward, but he would call me or he would send a message that keep going. This is encouraging us. So just as it's encouraging you, you're also encouraging me to do what I am doing. Reverend, I call him Reverend Deputy Charles Yeboah of Chesterfield, Virginia, close to Richmond, Virginia, for all the support as well. Mercy Kwaku. She's one individual who watches every episode, take notes, and sometimes, most of the time, yes, she'll call and ask questions, go through it, share her input, and thank you for all you do, the time you spend to take the notes, to listen through it, and that encouragement. You know, I always tell you, copyright means to use it and to copy it rightly so you can use it elsewhere. So you have all the license to use whatever we put out there. Princess Nana Sapon, she's in London at 5 hours, I believe, now, the time difference, but she stays up every night to listen or to watch this podcast. Josephine Boitier, the man of Kukor, thank you so much, and Davida Mansare, and so many of you from all around the globe. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, gratitude changes perspective. Gratitude softens the heart. Gratitude prepares the soul for what is next. That is what gratitude does. You know, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 18, it tells us that give thanks in all things. Not some things, but in all things. Give thanks in all things. So we have to give thanks in all things. You know, all means all, not some, not when you feel like, but he says give thanks in all things. Because it is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you and I. You know, it is not for everything, but in everything. In everything, be thankful. Thankful for the lessons you learned. Thankful for the strength you gained. Thankful for the doors that closed for your protection. Thankful for the opportunities that stretched you. We have to be thankful in all things. And when you end the year gratefully, ladies and gentlemen, you don't enter the next year with bitterness. You enter it ready. So gratitude turns reflection into fuel. It energizes you. It boosts you forward. It motivates you. It encourages you. So get into a place of gratitude. Pause every now and then and be thankful. And be thankful. Number one, to the Lord and to the people around you, even to the people that hurt you. Because they made you learn something. They made you gain some strength. They made you gain some resilience. Yes. Everything happens for a reason and for a purpose. Number 4 is letting go before stepping in. Letting go before stepping in. As you and I review your year 2025, the few things you want to ask yourself is, what am I carrying that doesn't belong in 2026? If you want to get a clear picture of this, you can go back to carrying no excess baggage into 2026. You can go back and watch that episode. I believe that was episode 131, or episode 131. Carry no excess baggage. And as you review your year, you know, when you ask yourself these questions, what am I carrying that doesn't belong in 2026? Is it regret? Is it guilt? Is it fear? Is it disappointment? Is it unmet expectations? You cannot step fully into the future with holding tightly to the past. And I believe that a lot of people have dwelt so much in the past that they are still holding on to the past and not allowing them to see the good in the future and what is ahead. In Isaiah 43, I mean, you can go back and read that verse 18 and 19, which tells us that forget the former things. It says forget the former things. God knows why he says forget anything that is former, because he's doing a new thing. Sometimes when you hold on to the former things, it doesn't allow you to see the new things that is happening, the new things that is ahead. So let go of what drained you in 2025 as you prepare to step into 2026. Release what distracted you. These days, there are so many distractions going on. We are distracted by things around us. I mean, our cell phones, social media, all these things come as a distraction. But release what distracted you the most and lay down what delayed you. I believe that this is the moment where you and I can step out of what was, that is in the past, so you and I can step into what God is preparing for us. So I said number one was the power of reviewing your year. Number two was acknowledging the highs and the lows. Number three was gratitude, the bridge between years. Number four, letting go before stepping in. And number five, the excitement for 2026. The excitement for 2026. Now let's pause and let's talk about 2026. Excitement doesn't mean everything is going to be perfect. Excitement doesn't mean all your I's are going to be dotted, all your T's are going to be crossed. But it means you're expected. That is the excitement. Expectation says, I don't know how it will happen, but I believe it will. That is what expectation says. 2026 is not going to be another year. It's another opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Another chance to grow. Another chance to align your life with purpose. And that is the expectation. You know, in the book of Proverbs, it tells us that commit your ways to the Lord. I believe Proverbs 16, it tells us that commit your ways to the Lord and He will establish your plans. As you look ahead, ladies and gentlemen, set intentions, not just resolutions. Choose growth over comfort. Choose obedience over convenience. And choose faith over fear. You're not entering 2026 empty-handed. That is a promise I want to give you. And I want to make this declaration tonight that you are not entering 2026 empty-handed. You're entering with wisdom, with experience, with resilience, and with uncommon favor. So, finally, let's ask ourselves, who are you becoming in 2026 if you're going to enter with all that expectation and that excitement? Who are you becoming in 2026? Ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing, or more importantly, what you do in 2026 is who you are becoming. You're becoming more disciplined, becoming more patient. When I talk about, I just pause because there was something that I tell people that when you pray for patience, God will have to test your patience. You have to allow people to push all your buttons to the place where you remain silent and not say anything, and that is when patience is at work. You're becoming more intentional, not putting your life on default or autopilot, becoming more confident in your calling. And I say this all the time that every one of us has a calling. We all have a calling. God never brought anyone on this earth just to occupy space here on earth. And when you die, you go occupy space 6 feet or 4 feet below sea level. No. Everybody was brought in here on purpose, for a purpose, and for His purpose. God designed you for something. He crafted you. He how should I say this? He custom made you for something to accomplish in this life, on this earth, to bless generations. Every year, ladies and gentlemen, shapes you and I. Every season molds us into what we are becoming. And the question is, will you be intentional about your growth? Will you be intentional about your growth? Because purpose doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't. It doesn't happen by accident. Transformation doesn't happen by chance. It takes work. And that work is what you put in. It happens when you decide to step out of old patterns, ladies and gentlemen, and step into new possibilities. There are possibilities all around us, and we see them every day, but because we're not paying so much attention to them, we miss them, we ignore them. But as we enter into 2026, that is who you want to become. You want to step into new possibilities. So, as we bring this to a close, as we come in for London, let's quickly look at the all right, so as we close, I want to invite you to do three things. Just three this week. Make time, spend time, and just three things, ladies and gentlemen. First, or number one, take this week to write your personal year in review. Not just what happened, but what you learned. Number two is release what no longer serves you. Don't carry unnecessary weight into 2026. No excess baggage into 2026. And number three, speak expectations over your next year, your next season. Say it aloud. I am ready for what is next. You know, when you make these confessions, when you make these declarations, pronouncements, it prepares you for what is ahead. All right, so once again, I want to thank each and every one of you for your time, for being part of this. If you happen to watch the replay, please let us know where you're watching from. And thank you for the thumbs up and the hearts and all that. Thank you so much. But if you happen to watch the replay, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. We'll make sure we answer it. If you have any suggestions, let us know. And again, let us know where you're watching from. And we are so glad you're part of this journey. So if this episode encouraged you, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to share with at least one person, someone who is reflecting on their year. I said from the beginning that this year has been challenging to most people. We've all had our ups, our highs, we've had our lows. I don't know about the in-between. But I want you to share this with at least one person. And when you share with that one person, you can encourage that one person to also share with another person. That is how we all contribute, and as we are part of this, that is how we help spread the message. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, please do so. Follow me on Facebook as well, and let's do this together. And take a moment as you do all this, leave a review, leave a comment. And when you leave a review and a comment, it really helps us to reach more people. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. Step out of the old and step into the new. As you walk boldly into 2026, I want to encourage you that don't give up. Until next time, keep stepping out and stepping in. And I want to say, and I want to wish every one of you a Merry, Merry Christmas and a happy, prosperous New Year. Merry Christmas and a happy, prosperous New Year. Thank you, Reverend Deputy Charles. Yes, I know you're watching from Richmond, Virginia. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And again, until same time next week, I believe that is going to be the last episode for 2025. I'm looking at dropping something on the 1st of January. Well, let's see how it goes. But until then, enjoy the Christmas season and spread the love. Let the light of Christ shine through you. Encourage someone, bless someone as you go along. And have a wonderful, amazing, fruitful, and a very productive week. And I say I love you, and there's nothing you can do. God bless you. Goodbye.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears behind, watch how you've grown. Challenge yourself, break free and begin to find the purpose within. Step out, step in, out of your comfort